This is the City of Casa Grande, December 21st City Council meeting. Welcome, everyone. First order of business is our invocation, but I don't see anybody here for that. Matt, would you mind taking care of that for us? And then we'll have...
Wait.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're hiding behind the podium.
Absolutely.
And then we'll stay standing, and I'll lead us in the pledge since Bob's not here.
How are you doing?
I expected Mr. Powell to recognize me. He did, and he did not recognize me. Thank you so much. Would you bow your heads and hearts with me? By the way, I'm Tim Pruitt, pastor of the Pinal County Cowboy Church. Let's pray together. Father in heaven, I thank you again for this wonderful day that you've given to us, for every blessing of life that you've showered upon us. Father, as we begin tonight, I want to pray for those that are sick, especially those that are sick with the COVID, whether they're at home or in the hospitals. Father, I pray for them. I pray for their help, for their health, and for their healing. Father, I thank you this evening for this great nation that we live in, whose motto is, "In God we trust." Father, I pray today that we would truly trust in you during these difficult and challenging times. Father, I thank you for this great state of Arizona. Father, our motto is God enriches. I want to thank you for the way that you have enriched my life and my family's life these many years that we've enjoyed living here in Casa Grande. Father, tonight I especially want to pray for our mayor and this city council. Father, for each and every member, I pray that you would give them wisdom and understanding. Father, give them courage to lead during these tough times. Give them strength. Give them wisdom and understanding. And I humbly pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry I messed everybody up there. Pastor Tim, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's your father? Good. Good.
All right, let the roll call show everyone is present except Bob Huddleston. Would someone like to offer him an excuse?
Move to excuse.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of excusing Bob from tonight's meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor,
All right, please
dealing
note.
with the minutes, we have the city council special meeting minutes from December 7th and the city council regular meeting minutes from the newly formed council on December 7th also. And I move that we approval of both of these.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Claims against the city, D, item D.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated December 2nd through December 15th, 2020 as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, claims are approved. Meeting agenda approval. I think we have one change on here, the swearing in of the firefighters we're going to scratch. So we can scratch that off your agenda. Any other changes, Larry? Anything from the council? No?
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Does Bob have to be excused or is he okay?
we excused him.
Okay.
You made note of that, right,
Okay.
Gloria? Thank you. Okay, so we'll move right to the item G, which is our consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event, the items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Does there anybody have any objections to the current list of consent agenda items?
None.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, there's no item H, I, or J, so we'll move right to K, ordinances and resolutions. Item K1.
Thank you, Mayor. It's recommended that the mayor and city council approve the proposed amendments to the Business and Nonprofit Assistance Program and authorize the funding transfers within the Residential Assistance Program. On August 12, 2020, the city launched its first round of assistance programs through the CG CARES plan. The mayor and council allotted $500,000 for eligible businesses and federally recognized nonprofits. Applicants could qualify for a one-time reimbursement up to $10,000. Over the course of 3 months, the city distributed approximately $236,000 to 47 local businesses and nonprofits. The city launched the PPE program next on October 14, 2020. Eligible businesses could qualify up to $2,500 for the purchase of PPE equipment, and we distributed approximately $26,399 to 15 businesses and nonprofits. Based on the discussion that we had at the last city council meeting on December 7th, staff has prepared an updated round 2 of the CG CARES Business and Nonprofit Assistance Program. This updated program will be an all-exclusive program providing reimbursement for rent, mortgage, utilities, PPE, and potentially extension of property for restaurants under the Executive Order 2020-60 to encourage outdoor dining. This program will have an approximate total of $237,601 available for reimbursement. This program will allow for new and returning applicants to apply up to $10,000 in additional funding, with an emphasis on prioritizing businesses and nonprofits that have not received prior city-based COVID-19 assistance. It would be assessed by our prior group that we had before, 5 individuals consisting of 3 staff members and 2 council members. We're developing a flyer right now that will go out and advertise for this. I know the mayor has offered to go door to door and pass this out, and many other council members.
I heard that.
I did, I said that.
We will include in the application an example of what we'd like to see for the profit loss statement, so it'll be very easy to understand. Applications will be accepted from December 30th through January 29th. They're eligible up to a cap of $20,000, so I just wanted to explain that a little bit. Meaning if in the first round they've got $5,000, that means they could get an additional $15,000 up to $20,000. Staff is also requesting authorization to move $50,000 from the originally allocated as part of the $250,000 for expanding internet access for students to be moved to the child care funds to further support learning hubs for students here at Casa Grande. And that's my staff report, if you have any questions.
Matt, go ahead.
You know how you said the max was 20,000, like if they got 5,000 the first time, then they could do 15,000? Does that include the PPE, like if they got the first round, then the PPE?
Yeah.
It's all in there,
It's all
right?
combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and for clarification on that, this goes from September, October, November, or October, November, December. So there's 3 different ways. So this is a different time period that we're covering, which the prior PPE was for a different time period.
Okay. And then also, sorry, is that right? Yeah, they're doing the new CARES Act tonight. They're voting on it right now.
Right.
Is there a provision there to get more money like this? I mean, I know it's a literally 67-pound piece of stack of papers. Do we know? All you hear
Yeah,
about
I
is
think
the
the
600.
cities are scheduled to receive money through this new allocation if it gets passed, and we'll get it directly from the feds. It won't go through the state.
Okay.
That's my understanding anyway.
So, yeah, reason I'm asking is don't want to run out of this money right now if we're not going to get, but it looks like we might get more.
I think so.
All right, thanks.
I think there's a good chance it's going to pass.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Well, and I'm just so glad that we are extending this again
Yeah.
and being a little bit more not as exclusive on what it's for, because being on that committee, we saw so much need. And even if someone got the maximum amount of 10,000, it's still, when you looked at their bills and their profit and loss statements and everything, it's just devastating. So who would have ever thought we'd be in December and this is still going on? And it's a critical, these businesses it's not getting any better, especially for many of the restaurants.
264 days.
Right. So I'm just, happy to see
exact.
that. And then, Stephen, of course, you learn from, the process. And so I was really happy to see the frequently asked questions, your samples, because I know it made our job so much easier when someone, if there's like a template where they can fill it in, because we were digging through documents and trying to figure things out. So I like that you had an example and, template or whatever it is. So, but yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I think we do need to get the word out. You're right.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of people that didn't know about it. So, I don't know how we're gonna expand that, but just,
Going to
we
go
just-
door to door.
Yeah, door to door. Businesses, your friends and neighbors and everyone else. So, there's definitely a need out there still. So, thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else?
So can we talk just a moment about, and clarifying, because there's, I understand about the 20,000 total, and, there's some examples and stuff, but I think there's been a little bit of misconception as far as what they can apply for with, with this money, because we've seen some changes where the outdoor seating and those kind of things. And having sat on this group, I could see there may be some, some conflict about what is covered and what is not covered for this money. So I don't know if you've had an opportunity to think about that, or if you have thoughts about that you want to share?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman McBride, pretty much as before, what it's going to cover, the only thing that we're adding to this is the extension of your premise. And what we've said in here, not necessarily for tables or chairs or heaters, those kind of things, it's more barriers to create the area that you need to extend your premise.
Yeah, the temporary
Right.
piece.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that we've really added to that wasn't in the previous program.
So when we do the flyer or we do that outreach, we just want to make sure that we're very clear on that, because that way people don't waste their time pulling all that information together, and then for the group that reviews it to have to go back and say no. And I know that Mackenzie did a wonderful job with us, and so I think it will save him to make sure it's clarified.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Stephen. Seeing no other questions, then I'll call for a resolution, please. Gloria?
Resolution number 5253.1, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting an amendment to Resolution 5253 regarding the city of Casa Grande Community Relief Fund Plan.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve resolution number 5253.1 as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Before I vote, I want to thank staff for putting this together. I know I've been hounding you for it, and I appreciate it. It's, this is important, so thank you. Yes. All right, next item on the agenda is K2, consider ordinance number 1397.008.29. Are you covering this one, Stephen, or Mr. Wallace?
Larry and I are looking at it, and he makes more money, so I guess I go. Obviously, we had a chance to talk about this ordinance a little bit at the study session, so I don't want to rehash too much of it. I'm hoping that Stephen can show some revised language that we discussed there, so I'm going to stall for just a moment. But just a reminder for those people that weren't able to tune in for the study session, This ordinance is something that is allowed by Proposition 207, and staff's intent in bringing it to the council tonight is to provide for the status quo, at least till such time as staff and the community has a chance to look at some of the Arizona Department of Health Services rules, as well as address zoning matters related to medical marijuana, or recreational marijuana. Adult use marijuana is what we're actually calling it. So if anyone has any questions, I can do that. There was a question during the study session on section 8.30.030. And so what I've done is I've tried to revise language to address that, and it's on the screen in front of you. You can see in that under the new version of 8.30, what we did was we took out possess, smoke, or consume as being prohibited on property that is occupied, owned, or controlled, or operated in the city in paragraph 1. We did add to smoke or consume, we just added in the language or on property occupied, owned, controlled, or operated by a city in paragraph 2. The net effect of that is it does the violations in paragraph 1, which are a class 2 misdemeanor, do not include possession, smoke, or consumption. Those will be a petty offense if they occur on public property. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does that answer your question, Lisa? Okay. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, then I'll call for an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1397.08.29, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending Title 8, Health and Safety of the Casa Grande Municipal Code by adding a new chapter 8.30 relating to the regulation of adult use marijuana and setting forth violations, penalties, providing for severability of its provisions.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of, is it amended, as amended?
Ordinance, yeah.
Okay, ordinance number 1397.08.29 as amended?
Second.
Just to make clear, what we're talking about is as amended by staff prior to the motion, but I think you've made it clear that it does include that new language
Correct.
in section 8.03.030. Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Lavender.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote yes, but also because we can bring it back quickly, because as of right now, we can only have the one place. I just don't want to miss out on any opportunities for people, so yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right. We have one more item here other than reports, so item L1 is public hearing on our proposed 2030 general plan, which I like the book. Thank you, Paul.
Yes.
It is.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
It has nice maps in it.
So, Mayor and members of council, this is a public hearing on the general plan. It will precede your final vote on the plan on your January 4th meeting. But I thought maybe for this meeting, what would be appropriate just to talk a little bit about the changes that have been made to this document since last time I was here speaking to you, which I believe was about maybe your first meeting in October. We were in the middle of the 60-day review period at that time. Of course, the 60-day review period is now concluded. We've received all those comments. We've made some revisions to the plan as a result of that. I would like to just talk a little bit about those and so you understand what changes have been made. The version of the plan that you each have now received a printed copy of do reflect all the changes that resulted from that 60-day review. If it's okay with you, I'll just take a moment or two to review a couple of the other changes that we had made. So let me just tell you, we are referring to this draft of the plan as your pre-final. This plan that you received, this last version, actually is going through one final editorial review. We hired Donovan Kramer at Pinell Central to do the final editorial review, which I call editing for grammar, spelling, font, and format. And he completed that work, I think on Friday or over the weekend, and so we're making the final revisions to reflect his editorial comments, and they should be in the version that I present to you at the January 4th meeting. So this is a little bit, these are the steps that we've gone through as we've walked this path towards completing this new general plan. And it actually started back in May of 19, where council approved a public participation plan. So we've been working on the plan for about 18 months now. The most recent things that have happened since I guess I was here at the October 19th meeting was we did do the online public presentation using various online platforms. You can see noted there. The Planning Commission held a public hearing, the first of 2 required public hearings on December 3rd, and then the second of the required public hearings at a different location, which was at the Community Rec Center, and a vote on it on December 8th. The Planning Commission did vote, made a recommendation to council that the plan should be approved. If you recall, as we developed this new general plan, we identified some community issues that we thought the new plan should really address. One is really a forefront issue of water resources, and really think about how the limited water resources that we have can support growth and development. A desire to promote infill of land that can be easily served by existing infrastructure and city services. The need to expand housing choices to accommodate all levels, income levels, and demographics within the community. The desire to bring new activity and development into the downtown area and to drive growth through the creation of new quality commercial industrial development and well-paying jobs. I do believe that this new plan does a good job of addressing all of those issues. This is sort of a summary of some of the major changes that actually happened between the 2020 general plan, our current one, and the new 2030 general plan. I won't go into much detail on those, but those are all changes to address some of those emerging issues. The 60-day review period, which is required by the statute, we did receive a number of comments. We received some from the general public, some from our steering forum members, some from our technical advisory, land developers, Central Arizona College, the elementary school district, city council, the Alliance for Livable Communities, Center for Future of Arizona, the city of Eloy and the city of Maricopa provided comments, and city planning staff. So we had a good amount of public input. I'm going to tell you that the biggest change that resulted from the public input was a realization that some of our subdivisions that actually had approved certificates of assured water supply, many of those were in a preliminary plat stage. We actually had placed them in a category, a land use category, that was going to create a barrier to allowing them to develop as single-family subdivisions. Some of those subdivisions existed close to the I-10 corridor, wherein they had been put in the commerce and business category, and actually some had been put and existed within sort of our industrial category along Gila Bend Highway. You can see those are numbered 7 and 8. So we made a policy shift to try to change the land use designations of subdivisions that had existing certificates of assured water supply and put them in the neighborhoods category so they could actually be constructed as single-family neighborhoods. We, as you know, we have a limited amount of platted lots or lots that are on preliminary plats that have approved certificates of assured water supply, and that's kind of the inventory that controls the growth of our single-family subdivisions in the future, so we wanted to make sure that we preserved as many of those as possible. So we did make some refinements along the edges of those to make sure that those subdivisions were able to be developed. Another change we made was, this is our growth map for Phase 1 growth area. And Phase 1 growth area is the area that we defined that basically all those subdivisions I mentioned that have certificates of assured water supply exist within Phase 1, as well as in Phase 1, we have the ability to serve that land with our existing wastewater treatment plant. The area north of Val Vista, west of the 10, or west of Pinal actually, was not in the Phase 1 area. It's sort of, the majority of the Copper Mountain Ranch, PAD. We have since understood that there's the potential for the Copper Mountain Ranch Water Company, which the city actually owns, to provide water service to that development in the somewhat near future. So we did add that into Phase 1 growth area because we can provide water to it, we believe, in the near future. One last change we made was to our transportation roadway map, because ADOT has now acknowledged a shift in the preferred corridor for the I-11 that actually puts I-11 where we asked it to be placed. The city of Casa Grande asked it to be placed, which is essentially following the Montgomery Road alignment. So we've now shown the potential future I-11 corridor following the Montgomery Road alignment. We didn't have that in before because ADOT had not committed to agreeing to that shift, but they have now. So remaining steps in this approval process. So we've talked about the December meetings for Planning Commission. We're here tonight at the December 21st meeting. On January 4th, we will schedule the general plan for a formal vote by council on adoption and scheduling it for a public vote at the May 18th, 2021 mail-in election. So that summarizes everything that I wanted to say this evening, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Powell?
On the general plan, I was looking through it and I came up with a couple of areas where I just wanted to mention. I think it's really outstanding that we're looking at the compatibility. I think it's huge to minimize land use conflicts, and I think that's what happens so often. And promote and compatible between residential and non-residential developments, increase use of compatibility. Though I think those are really, really good and outstanding, Paul, and I think that'll really bring home some important things. One of the other areas I had was that was the development standards. There was the assured water supply. And the 237. The water supply, I do not believe that we will have enough water to go down the road like we would like to go. It's interesting, this came out yesterday, and I don't know how many of you saw it, but it basically is 6 Arizona counties may be uninhabitable in the next 30 years due to climate change, studies show. Number 2 in the nation is Pinal County, number 2. The Arizona counties listed include Pinal, Graham, Maricopa. The study's finding listed Pinal County in Arizona as the second most at-risk county in the United States of being uninhabitable. And being able to be habitable is going to depend a lot on availability of water, what we can do and what we can't do. Pinal County faces major challenges when it comes to heat, farm crop yields, wildfires, it gave it the number 2 spot on the list. The only other county that is more at risk than Pinal County is Bedford County, South Carolina. And due to rising sea and humidity, the east is worried about humidity. The humidity seems to be gathering, but Arizona, however, is the vast majority of resources, and the few amounts of regulations the state has made are only put forward around Phoenix and Tucson, while the rest of the state is left to fend for itself. And we know that. You've got the state of Maricopa and the state of Pima County. This situation between the center quarter of the state, where all the resources and regulations of the state are concentrated, and the entire rest of the state is getting no benefit from these measures, is unacceptable. Also looking at Joanna Allhands has written a lot about water in the Arizona Republic, and she's quite good at it. But here, headlines on this one right here from, it says, one more warm, dry winter could spell shortage for Lake Mead and trouble for Arizona. The warm, dry weather's been having, maybe good for moving activities outside, but it's bad news for the water supply. She's talking about basically the likely would push Mead into a first-time shortage declaration. The chances are growing quickly that a warm, dry winter could push Lake Powell to a trigger point about a year from now that could result in significantly less water for Lake Mead, which supplies about 40% of Arizona water supply. Likely would push Mead into first-term shortage declaration, and the same things will happen the following year if it makes it likely plunge Mead into more severe shortage, a depth from which the lake is unlikely to recover for any time soon. These are issues, I think, that are really important. And one of the things I really, and it's in this one back here about trying to obtain water, I think we need to go back. This right here is what was proposed on harvesting the Mississippi floodwater and bringing down the federal corridor from Davenport, Iowa to Green River, Wyoming, where it dumps into the Colorado. And the rest of it God built. Water comes right on down, fills the dams back, does those things. They had $19 billion worth of damage in 2019 from the flooding. And it's kind of a win-win. Anyway, we took this to the legislature in Arizona, and it got past the House with just one no vote, total support. And what we're asking for is to do a check on feasibility. And they're asking Congress to conduct a feasibility study that would examine how much water, how possible it is to do it. And that if it is possible, that they would go ahead and put diversion dams in at Davenport. And the federal, you don't have to buy any land because the federal corridor goes all the way and it's pretty flat and straight. But in January, we're going to go back on this again, and I don't know that it wouldn't be a bad idea to have the mayor and some other people express how, and this is not only for Arizona, this is for all 7 basin states. A year ago, they had plenty of water. Right now, they don't. This heat and our changing conditions is just messing everything up. So I think, Paul, you've got it listed in here and stuff, but I think it's something we need to look at more thoroughly and try to get some water in here, because without water, we don't go anywhere. And our development's stopped because we don't have water. We have a lot of issues with that. And if we could get something like this coming down where we would have a water source. The funny thing is, in 1968, when they passed the approval for the Central Arizona project, the federal government promised that they would bring water to the Colorado River for us, additional water. But they never had a way to do it, and they haven't done it. this would be about the only way in the world you're gonna do it, is to get the water to come down from somewhere else where it's doing damage. And every bit of water we take away from floodwater helps them, and every drop that comes down would help us, and we would pipe it instead of putting a ditch or those kind of things, and pipe it into the river. But as I say, I think that as we look forward as a city council, this is something that's pretty important, and I don't know if you and Larry and some others, want to sit down with some people up there. I think we can get, Dunn is the representative, Tim Dunn from Yuma, who's Bill Dunn's cousin, Matt, which makes him maybe related to you.
He's my cousin.
And so we have to take Matt with us.
Kind of.
He got everything together, and as I say, we had it right there, and all it had to have was approval of the Senate. And that damn COVID-19 came along, and it blew everything up, never got a hearing. So we're gonna have to try to start from scratch again, but if you look at Arizona, how else in the 7 other states, we can't generate from our states enough water to continue to develop and to farm and to do those kind of things. And if we could work something out to bring floodwaters away from the Mississippi and down in the Colorado River, it would be a long-term solution. But anyway, I've preached enough, so I'm going to pass the collection plate here in a minute.
Anybody else have any other comments?
I just want to say, Paul, this is a great job you guys did. This is the best one I've seen done,
Concur.
the general plan.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
And there's a lot of effort put into it, and a lot of people involved, and this guy over here, he got to be involved as the chairman, but as I say, it really has some good ideas in there, and I really applaud it. I went through it, and what I was reading, I liked a lot, so I think you did a great job.
Lisa?
And I agree, and I wanted to thank both of you, because I know the mayor and Dick, were both really active, but I agree, Paul, I think, just the public input, I went to the one meeting at the rec center, and people were really excited and engaged, and, when you look at these priority areas, with the water resources, the infill with the land, housing, what else, jobs, downtown area, I mean, those are the priorities, and so I just think you captured so much, and I just wanted to thank you guys and all of you for all of your hard work. I agree. It was great going through. I mean, not only is it's like a beautiful book, but it's like, wow, this is good stuff. So good job.
Thank you very
Matt?
much.
Not to belabor too much, but thank you, and thank you to the committee that volunteered to do it. They put in a lot of work. And I really was wondering about those housing developments, but that people always ask, why do you let them build new housing when we have all these ones? But now we've used our powers that we can use, if this passes, to encourage them to use the pre-platted housing subdivisions with the water already there, which helps this problem a little bit. But I mean, I'm not nearly as versed as Mr. Powell about it, but it seems like a great idea. And then I really love the different urban type stuff that you just didn't leave in one place, but a few different places around the city to build character in different areas. Thank you.
I think that Jeff was on this committee too, but I just, I'm kind of kudos to Paul, because looking at all the people who are involved in this, it was probably like herding cattle much of the time. And so the finished product looks wonderful. Thank you.
Herding cats more like
Yeah,
it.
more like cats
Cattle.
sometimes, yeah.
In honor of Mr. Powell.
No, everyone made great contributions. It was a team effort, and so I really appreciate all the input that we've received throughout the process. It's made a better
Yeah,
plan.
It was a good process, I think. And I think everybody participated too, which was good.
Yes.
We got good participation. Good participation from the community.
Right.
So,
I had to deliver my wife and daughter. My daughter's having a birthday, and they're going to go to the casino and have dinner and everything. And that stretch along the road going is the worst. It's ugly, and they're about this far apart. You can get the sugar passed to you from the next window across from you, and I'm glad we're not seeing that kind of stuff here.
Anybody else have any other comments, questions? Thank you, Paul. Thank you, especially to your staff. Please pass along our appreciation.
I will. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor.
All right, this is a public hearing, so I will open the floor for public comment on the general plan. Since there's one general public here. I don't know if you like me calling you general public, but
Happy you attended tonight.
Yeah.
all right, well, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing portion of this. And that's all there is to it, because we'll present this again on June 4th for a final vote. Correct?
June.
January.
I'm sorry, did I say June? January 4th, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. I was hoping COVID was over.
Yeah.
All right. Seeing no other business then, other than our reports, we'll start with Mr. Lavender over there, and we'll work our way around.
Well, I want to congratulate you, Larry, on your well-deserved award. So congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, as part of my new employee process, I've had contact with the city clerk's office, HR, IT, and your office, and the level of professionalism and the practice and of social distancing is to be commendable. So all of you, congratulations and thanks for what you're doing. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of our staff.
Thank you, Mr. Lavender. Ms. McBride?
Just one thing, I had the opportunity to sit in and be a quiet observer to the open forum that was done on the Evergreen Irrigation District, and hats off to Steve Hardesty and Stephen Weaver, and we had more staff there than public, but it was great information, and, the gentleman that was talking did a great job, so I think that it was needed, and I look forward to hearing more about, what the residents plan on doing. That's it. Merry Christmas.
Lisa?
I don't have much yet. Congratulations, Larry, but just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and just be safe. Let's really try to wear these masks, guys. We need to do our part, and with the holidays coming, it's so easy to let our guard down, but I'm just hoping that the number went down just a little bit, right, Mayor? So let's just hope we can keep it going down. So Merry Christmas, everyone, stay safe.
Thank you. Just a couple things. In case you missed it, ASU did win their last 2 games, one of them very handily. Over. If you put it upside down, it's LOL, 7-7. So Nogales Tech or whatever, that other school. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I also wanted to, on a serious note, thank Shane Leonard, who he was the consultant for the Evergreen District, and he's forgotten more about irrigation districts, I think, than many of us will ever know. And I'm going to preempt this statement because I did all my shopping in Casa Grande, except for I had to go to the Scottsdale Mall because there's a few stores there that we cannot buy in Casa Grande. But there's a great big corner sign said Lucid Motors coming soon. So they're going to have a store at the Scottsdale Fashion
Really?
Square. Yeah, it was huge. Didn't mention Casa Grande, but it was still there. So great for us and great for everybody. But they have it's going to be a great presence there. So
Wow.
anyway, that was exciting to see. And we just, one more time, we've been going out on the weekends and still looking at, you can't cover all the light displays
I
in
know.
one night.
I know.
So Eric and I cruise every weekend and look at even more. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing what people did with their houses and the businesses as well. So, and I know the voting's over, so we'll probably have some results very soon. And with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and stay safe, have fun, and thank you very much for being part of our community. So, thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Mr. Powell?
I'm still trying to get over being quarantined for 14 or 15 days or whatever it was, As they say, I had 3 women, and they all told me to stay in my darn room, not to come out, and then if I did, I had to have a mask on, and
Slide food under your door?
they,
Slide some food in.
and it is for real, I will tell you that. We need to be very careful with it, and it's frightening, and it mutates, which it's done. I mean, everybody saw that in Britain and England. They've got a new one that is the same thing, but a different variation of it, but.
Maybe banned from Europe.
I know so many people, I hope people take advantage of getting a shot and getting vaccinated, because as you looked at this some time ago, it looked like the only way in the world this was going to stop was have some way to stop, a vaccine to stop viral infection. And they're getting a lot of people done already. And so hopefully it'll reach Casa Grande and we can all get one at some point in time. But I know, I feel badly, some people that don't want to, I don't think they realize how dangerous this can be, and how, probably the saddest thing about it is somebody that's in there on a ventilator and they're dying and nobody can be there with them. They're by themselves when it happens, and the family feels terrible, and so I just hope that we can get through this and encourage people. I know you do a lot, Mayor. I didn't know if you were working for President Trump for a while, the way you were putting all that stuff on.
We're still tracking it. He's not.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. So I'll give my COVID update, my normal dark and dreary picture here. 264 days, been tracking it now. And this is kind of the post holiday, Thanksgiving spike. And we're sitting at, this is Arizona, state of Arizona, the last 30 days is 166,000 cases. In the last, 166,000 COVID cases in the last 30 days. That's 36% of all cases for the year. Have happened in the last 30 days.
Arizona's about at the top right now, aren't we?
There's a couple other hot spots. Last 7 days, it's 41,000, just in the last 7 days. And our positivity rate's about 29%. That means that 29 out of 100 people who get tested test positive. The state's at 601 infections per 100,000. That's one of the benchmarks. For Pinal County, last 30 days, it's 9,189, and it's 38% of all tests, or not tests, but infections, for the last 264 days. And then the county's positivity rate is not as high as the state. We're at about 26%, and that's coming down, so that's a good thing. And they're at 488 infections per 100,000. Again, we're supposed to be at 100 or less. That's the benchmark to be moderate. So we're at extreme on all benchmarks: hospitalizations, positivity rates, the infections per 100,000.
Lack of beds too is really critical, isn't it?
Yeah, I have that information too. So in Casa Grande, last 30 days, it's been about 1,400 cases. 37, that's in 85122 only. That's 37% of all the infections have happened in the last 30 days. Last 7 days, last week, it's 365. So I know when this thing started, somebody says, I don't even know anybody who's been sick. Now I think everybody knows somebody who's been sick, if not several people or families that have been sick. So it has kind of overwhelmed us, quite frankly. 600, and we're at 608 per 100,000. The county's at 488. We're 608. So we're kind of a hot spot in the county. Banner is at 140% of their summer peak. And coincidentally, their ICUs are almost at 140% capacity, the ICU at Banner. And he says, this is from Brian, who's the CEO, Brian Keller, that the people who they have in the hospital are very sick, very, very sick, worse than he saw in the summertime. So I will say that the death rates are down, because I think that we've figured out ways to treat it, but there's just so many people now. And then the other couple good things that I track are the 7-day moving averages. And so Pinal County, the last 4 days, we've been, and this is increase, right? So I tracked 7-day, and then the increases have been at 89, 89, 85. The other day was 104. So 104 means it was a 4% increase over the previous 7 days. So, but the trend is down. So that's a good thing. And in 85122, our trend is down also. So we're kind of mirroring the county as far as the moving average totals for infections. So now that cheery news. Vaccines should arrive this week in Pinal County. So we not sure what the schedule is going to be yet.
Arrives today.
Today, tomorrow, sometime this week they expect them. And the hospital Banner is one of the locations that will be issuing vaccines. I do want to caution people that the first wave of vaccines are probably going to be used up by medical staff. So not to expect that they're in the tier 1 vaccine stage. So don't know how many vaccines we'll get because that information hasn't been shared. But we do expect to see some information this week on that. Do want to also add some positive news. We got November's building permits in. We're now at over 1,100 new permits this year, which is phenomenal. It was a smaller number than the previous months. It's only about 47 permits, but still over last year in terms of number of permits that were issued in November last year versus this year. So that's all good stuff. We have 16 builders now in town. Compare that to 2 years ago we had 2. Mm-hmm. So phenomenal.
There's a huge amount of lumber being nailed all over the place. Right?
It's everywhere. Yeah, if you've gone by Ghost Hollow, it's full.
Yeah.
And it was empty, 6 months ago? Mm-hmm. So good to see. In fact, tonight we interviewed a couple people for our boards and commissions, which we still do have some openings if anyone is interested. And Donna and I interviewed a couple new people, new residents to the city of Casa Grande. It was really exciting to talk to them. One of them actually works at Lucid and is their international supply manager. Mm-hmm. And he bought a home here in Casa Grande, so that's awesome. The other person was from California. He had moved here. He had moved here, and both are very interested in being part of our community and want to get involved with the boards and commissions. So good to see that we have good people coming forward and wanting to be involved. The tours. So the holiday tour winners for the continuous display winners, drum roll. All right, the People's Choice. Residential home, number 21, 1747 East Birch Street. Figueroa family, did I say that right? Congratulations to them.
What was the theme of their?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I just know them by the theme, with their house.
People's Choice, number 2 business, was number 23, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, theirs is
really
cool.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah, they even decorated their drive-thru.
Yeah,
That was
they
kind of
did.
cool. Yeah.
It's really cute.
Most original is number 15, and that address it's a home, 2201 North Magdalena Place, the Francisco family. Sorry, it didn't say what their theme was. Mm-hmm. Most festive is number 3, and that's located at 10709 West Shetland Inn. the Menta family, okay? Oh, Lane, sorry, not in. The biggest and brightest is number 30 at 266 West Auburn Sky Court, the Medell family. That's just down the street from my house. It was very well lit. I don't know what their power bill is going to be, but it was beautiful. So those are the winners. Congratulations to all those winners. I'm sure the department will be getting in contact with them for their prizes. Okay, great. Thank you, Larry. And then just an update too, we did announce, or Larry announced last week, the Trails Project and the contractor that we've selected. So that project will start to move forward. The first leg of it, as a reminder, is from Rotary to Peart officially, but we're going to try and get it all the way to the community center, as Mr. Raines told me today. So I'm going to hold you to that, Larry.
I don't think you're supposed to say that out loud.
Never tell me anything you don't want me to repeat.
Can I get an
Yeah, Harold, you know what you want.
So that's exciting. I'm excited for that. It's been long overdue, and I will continue to push for that. So. Other than that, I'm glad to be back. I did go and get tested on Saturday, and my test was negative. I just got the results like 5 minutes ago, so
How many
I'm
tests have you
safe.
had?
Good.
Well, that's good.
3?
Yeah. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? Staff? Anybody?
Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Have a safe holiday, because these spikes, we don't need to see them again. But
And as we
I've got a bad
leave
feeling.
tonight, look for the star
Oh, yeah. Great
in the
conjunction.
western sky, right?
Oh, okay.
Over at 6:30 it was.
Yeah,
We
nice.
missed
missed
it.
it.
But it said until Christmas, you can see it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And no other business. Meeting adjourned.